Now, live from WUSA 9, this is 9 News This Morning at 9 a.m.
Well, he's the hero of the Olympics, but life will never be the same again for Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps. The question is, how difficult will it be for him to adjust to his new celebrity status? With us now is sports psychiatrist Tony Baum, and we also have author and businessman Jeremy Haft here to talk about the business impact of the Olympics. Thank you both for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Tony, let's start with you. You know, Michael Phelps is not going to be able to go anywhere. Everybody's going to want his autograph and want to know all about the Olympics. How does he adjust to that?
Well, one hopes with grace and dignity. It is a huge adjustment. Not that he's a complete stranger to some degree of fame, because of course in prior Olympics he's already medaled, and so he's had some time to adjust to the concept, but clearly Beijing created a monster here. I think one of the things that can be the most difficult is how fleeting this fame can be. You know, swimming is one of those sports that fades into obscurity in between Olympic Games. And so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
And you wonder, how does he replace that adrenaline rush? Because he's had his trouble, you know, as any adolescent, young man, teenager growing up, you know, the drunk driving thing. But how does he replace that adrenaline rush when everybody thinks you are the golden boy and now you just have to be Mike for the next 4 years?
Well, that's a good question. I suspect the most therapeutic thing for him will be to get back in the water and keep on swimming.
Now, you know, we all have heard so much about his history growing up. His mother got him into swimming because of his attention problems. Do you think there'll be like a rash of parents saying, maybe my child who's very active has ADHD too? Should I, you know, how do you know the difference?
Well, that could happen, and that wouldn't be necessarily a terrible outcome for a few more kids to be identified who might have an actual problem. But of course, ADD is one of those household terms that where there has been probably overdiagnosis of the condition and over-medication of the condition. I think the important thing is to keep an open mind when you get a child evaluated, and for the evaluator to keep on evaluating and not to come to a snap judgment about it, but to make sure that you're evaluating a child in different circumstances, at home, at school, on the playing field, and again over time. We do think that athletes, that there may be, although there's a dearth of data, that there may be some predisposition for kids who have ADHD, the hyperactivity component, to choose sports because they have more success in athletics oftentimes than they do in the classroom.
I was going to say, he's a perfect example of what you can achieve.
Absolutely.
And Jeremy, it's going to make him a very wealthy man. We understand he's already making $5 million from like Speedo and things like that, but now he could become the $50 million man?
Incredible, right? Yeah, the price tags go higher and higher, and on the Chinese side, the pressure is very high also for these sponsorship monies.
So what do you think will be his outlet? How do you think where will he go from here?
Oh, that I leave to the brand managers. I mean, I expect that he will probably endorse the hottest products today, and hopefully he'll try to spin something out that will give him some longevity beyond when swimming fades into obscurity.
Now, you were talking a little bit about the Olympics creating jobs in the U.S. and in China?
Well, in the U.S. especially, but also in China. We hear a lot about how imports from China take jobs from our economy. What we don't often hear is that exports to China add jobs to our economy, and exports to China are booming more than ever before. In fact, U.S. exports to China for the first time in years are growing faster than exports from China to the U.S. And that's in goods and services across our whole economy. So it's not just agriculture products, but it's also manufactured goods and services. So that's adding jobs.
That's good. That's a good thing. And how do you think the spotlight on China will do as far as the civil rights violations that they've long been accused of? We saw the picture in the paper today about a 79 and a 77-year-old woman being sent to labor camp for a year for trying to protest at the Olympics. Right.
Well, you know, China made all kinds of protestations before the Olympic Games that they were going to be nice, they were going to open up, they were suddenly going to reform their politics. I think it was a little bit disingenuous of us to believe them, of the IOC to believe them. Anyone who thinks that China would suddenly open up its economy and reform is delusional. That being said, I think world scrutiny does help drive reform in China. The fact that we're talking about it here in the news is helpful. And you do see that the moderates in China's government are actually gaining power. One of China's major and most powerful cities just launched a plan to add a more independent judiciary, independent elections, independent budgets, more transparency of Communist Party leaders. So certain parts of China are moving towards human and civil rights, but a big part of the society needs to be dragged along with it.
All right. Well, we have to stay tuned and see how the world responds to what we know. Thank you very much, both of you, for being with us.
Thanks,
we appreciate
Audrey.
it.
Thank you.